Everybody, welcome back to another episode of 3+1, the live cast, where my beautiful and amazing co-hostess, Tracey Bonner, is actually filming. She's filming 3 projects at one time. I can't talk about the projects. They're top secret. You will see them soon. But it's been a crazy week. It has been really good for me to learn what she's going through as an actress filming during this pandemic, because it's crazy. If one person on the set contracts COVID-19, filming shuts down. And then they try to rearrange and organize. And so she was there filming, was sent home, was told to come back because they figured out a solution. It's been quite the ordeal. So Tracey, if you can chime in and catch us, we miss you, we love you, and we know that you're creating great work. Stay motivated, stay encouraged, and we will hopefully see you next week. But again, the job that pays you is a priority. Is that not right, Tre Floyd?
That's right. Get that coin, girl.
Get that coin. So we are really lucky tonight to be joined by the one and the only Tre Floyd. Tre Floyd is a native of Mississippi. Is it Water Valley?
Coffeeville,
Mississippi. Coffeeville, Mississippi. Graduate from the University of Mississippi. He is a producer, a director, a playwright, a screenwriter, and sometimes, if he has to be, an actor. All of that as he is now preparing to launch a brand new venture for us in April called Tre Floyd TV. So we're really excited to have you with us, Trey. I have a lot of questions, a lot of things that I want to know. I want to encourage all of you watching to also ask questions about Trey's journey. Trey is a licensed educator. Mm-hmm. He was a full-time educator, an actual administrator, before really branching out to pursue his creative endeavors. So I know so many of you who watch are educators. So many of you who watch may be at this point in your life actually called to maybe even a totally different career. And so there's just a lot of questions to ask. So Trey, the first question that I want to ask you is, what gave you the courage to step out and leave your work as an educator to pursue the creative endeavors in the area of television, film, and screenwriting?
I think the circles around me just really gave me the courage and let me know that I really could do it. I think it's important to have good friends and family members who really support you. And I felt like the time was right. So, a lot of people like step out on faith. I don't tell people to step out on faith. I always tell people to step down before you step out. And what I mean by that is I'm the type that I always give 100% in everything that I do. And I found myself in a position where I started giving 80%, then 70%. And I took that little percent and put it toward what I really wanted to do till I got to a point where I was ready to do it full time.
Trey, this is something, and work with me. I know I will interrupt because my brain is super fast. I got lots of questions because you said something that was really, really important. And this is the thing. What I want to know is, have you always been called to the performing arts? Has that always been in your heart?
It's always been in my heart, but it's one of those things where you're kind of afraid to do it. It's not the most stable career. So it's something that I had to really make sure that I was ready to do, that I was financially ready to do, and just mentally ready to do. Because as I said, it's not stable. It's something that it's time. We have to stop. And then COVID, it's all kind of things that go into it. So you really have to be ready for it. But it's something I've always done ever since a child, starting like little church plays and things like that. I've always been involved in some form of art.
Do you regret not doing this full time sooner? Or do you feel as though it's the perfect time and it's all a part of the journey?
A little bit of both. So I'm not one of those people who says I have no regrets. There are things I wish I had done differently. But I do think it was part of the journey. I've met so many wonderful people through teaching and met great friends and taught great students. So I think it was a reason I went through that and did that. So I don't necessarily regret it. But if I could go back in time, I probably would do some things differently. Yeah.
Would you still have been a teacher?
Probably not. It's hard to say because even in high school, I wanted to be in education. However, I think I got a full scholarship to the University of Mississippi, right? And my undergrad is actually in accounting. And I think if my parents were rich, I probably would have went to New York or LA right after high school. But had I did that, I may have not been in Atlanta now doing the things that I'm doing. So everything happens for a reason. So I can only be grateful for that.
Do you miss teaching?
No, I don't miss teaching. However, I do miss that inspiring kids, or like that joyful feeling that you get at the end of the year when you feel like you've made a difference in a kid's life. I do miss that feeling, which is why I still find myself going out to schools and volunteering at schools, or having like the young arts programs come out at shows and do openers and stuff. I find ways to make sure I stay involved with students. So I don't miss the political aspect or the lesson planning type, but just the kids and being a mentor to kids. I definitely miss that part.
So, the best job I've ever had was teaching. I was a classroom teacher for 9 years, and I've had maybe 5 jobs since. And, most of them in education, except the one that I currently have. Mm-hmm. Teaching was the best job of my life. It was the most rewarding. Those were the best times of my life. They were the brokest times of my life, but it was okay because I was young and I was progressing and I didn't know what money was. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing on earth.
It's the most rewarding job ever. And what's so crazy is, the year that I left education altogether was the year that my first class graduated high school. And I got so many people, or so many former students reaching out like, you made a difference. And as a male teacher, like, so many kids don't have that father figure, so they look up to you like, you made these. And even parents reaching out, you taught my kid how to read. I taught elementary. So you taught my kid how to read. My kid still remembers you. Thank you so much. So I love sending out gifts during May. May is probably my brokest month of the year because I like to send.
Because you're rewarding and recognizing the educators. Yeah. What was Love, Sex, and Marriage your first project? Was that the very beginning?
It was the very beginning. So Love, Sex, and Marriage came because I was sitting in class. Well, no, I wasn't in class then. I was out of the classroom. But an administrator, a coworker, kind of got on my nerve. I was really frustrated at work. And I was like, I just need something different. Like, I need something to just get my mind off this. And so I was like, I'm gonna write this web series, right? Didn't know where it was going, but I was like, I'm gonna just do this. So I called up some friends. I was like, yeah, I really want to do this. I was like, do it. And I was like, if y'all will be in this, I can't pay you anything, but I feel like it can be good. So they came over, we did a table read. It was like, y'all, I think this is good. And so we did it, and it kind of just grew. And no one knew where it was going, but it just did.
It just grew. So, Candy, how are you doing? I'm glad that you made it home safely. You were in spin class a little earlier today. Love, Sex, and Marriage is a web series that's also a screenplay. Mm-hmm. And when is the play coming back?
Hopefully this summer. But I mean,
once COVID is over, you're gonna come back. So I've seen the play twice. And every time it's better and better. Every time you reinvent it, you add to it, you enhance it. So, Candy, that is going to be a date night for us. We're going to go. We'll have a group. We will have our vaccine. COVID-19 will be under control in Georgia. We'll be the 50th state to get it under control, but finally it will be under control. We hope and we pray by then. Thank you so much, Ron. So thank you so much. It really is. Teaching has been the joy of my life. And if I'll go back one day.
I won't go back. I don't know if I'll go back in the same capacity, but I feel like it's almost as if I never left. I'm still teaching. I just do it in a different way. I don't know.
And it's happening for you. So your Love, Sex, and Marriage, the web series, is getting ready to launch. You had 2 seasons.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And you're getting ready to go into the 3rd season. Now, just for those out there, I know you're getting ready to launch Tre Floyd TV. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the subscription price. Mm-hmm. But before we talk about that, because I hope you got a good price for us, that we can afford now, because we got all this other stuff. We got to cut some out. We may have to, you may have to let go of Disney Plus, or you might have to let go of the Hulu, or get Hulu with ads. and then use that leftover money for Tre Floyd TV.
There
So
you go.
this is my question: Are they able to still catch the first season and second season on YouTube?
Yes, the first season and second season is still on YouTube and it's still completely free. So go on, watch it, catch up so you'll be ready for season 3. And I think season 3 is really going to be great for those who have watched and those who have never seen it before. You can really jump in at season 3 and really be able to follow the show. I wrote it that way because I knew we would have a lot of new people coming in to watch on season 3. But also, like, we really elevated. Like, we really started to take it serious and just we have some new cast, some great storylines coming in, some new equipment, new lights, new cameras. So we really tried to do a good job to give you guys a good show.
And I agree. Everyone, Trey is absolutely a born creator. And that's why, it's a calling over his life that again, as he shared, it started very young. This is another question that I have is that as you prepare to transition over, and you're launching Tre Floyd TV, what is the vision for this brand new project? Where did it come from and where is it going?
So one, the vision was to have a space for us and by us. And for us, by us doesn't necessarily mean just Blacks for Black, but just young creators. I feel like that oftentimes we don't always have the space or people who want to give us what we deserve. And what I mean by that is, like, you see YouTube, like, they give you these pennies or whatever. So having something where we can actually make something from it so we can create great content for people, and also being able to give actors opportunities. Like, Tracy can attest to this, like, they always don't have the best opportunities out there. So I try to be fair, and I try to, there's my teaching comes out, give newer actors the chance to just get some experience, get their foot in the door so they can go on and do great things. And to give you some good content, because it's not a whole lot of great content out there. It is some, but it needs to be more. So I wanted to give some great content, some diverse storylines, something that everybody can enjoy.
When you say that that you want to have basically an incubator for, like, young creators so that more people can give in and they're able to contribute. Have you found people that are buying into that vision? Have you found the young people who are jumping on board, who are ready to go and they're excited to go?
Absolutely. So we had auditions. The actors came in groves to audition. So we found those. Even writers have been reaching out. People have pitched shows saying that they want to put their show here. I think this is great. This is going to be awesome. So it actually launches in April. We already have people who are subscribed already. So that has been a
How much are the subscriptions?
$7.99. And it's free. Like, if you sign up now, it doesn't charge until April. So you can go ahead and sign up today.
So we can sign up now. We can pay our $7.99. You're not going to give us, like, a year-long discount? Like, I can pay for the whole year and get it over with?
Not right now. We haven't got there yet, but it's going to be so good, you're not even going to care.
Well, let me tell you what I don't want to see happen, Tre Floyd, is I don't want to then sign up, pay, and then you come back later with, here's a special deal or here's a discount.
I promise you I won't do that. If anything, it may go up. Because so many people are signing up now that, like, we won't run this deal where, like, you can get so many months free. It'll stay. My goal is to stay at $7.99, especially for this first year, because I really want people who haven't seen my work to come on and feel like, okay, $7.99 is like a round number. I can afford this. Let me go try this for a month just to see how it is.
And so what are you most excited about because you know what you got coming. You know what's loading up in April. You know the level of projects, the level of creators that are buying into the vision, who are ready to go. Tell us, give us a little preview, give us a little sneak peek about something that's really exciting.
One of the shows I'm really excited about is called The Veil. And The Veil is my first kind of hood action show. It's kind of like, you could say Power mixed with The Shy in a sense. I can tell you it's about these family. This mother and father have 4 sons, and the mother and father are murdered. So the oldest son has to take care of the younger brothers, and they're trying to find out who killed their parents. And they have a lot of personality because one of the children, one of the youngest son is autistic. One of them is very smart. The next to oldest one wants to kind of get in the drug world, and the oldest one is trying to hold it all together. So it's been very exciting just filming that. It's something very different from anything I've done. So I'm super excited about it. It's going really well.
That does sound, actually it sounds extremely different than anything that's already out there. And that seems like some very unique content. And I know that you guys definitely need like someone to host the premiere parties. You need 3+1 Media right there to do those live interviews and to do deep dives into the release products. So Tracey and I stand ever ready to support the vision and support the work of Tre Floyd TV.
Absolutely.
What has been for you the biggest struggle in bringing this vision to life?
It takes a lot of planning. So if I wish I had set the date for a little bit later. But I said it for March 1st, so we have to, April 1st, so we have to be ready by April 1st. So just getting everything done with COVID going on, it takes a lot of planning, not having too many actors on set at a time, praying no one catches anything so that doesn't push production back, making sure editing is done. It's been a struggle, just time.
Period.
I
agree. I think that, COVID has changed a lot. Like we realized again with Tracey. So Candy, I know I'm doing the best I can. I need my girl.
You're doing a great job.
I'm doing the best I can. But, it is tough, without Tracey. But we know that she is, him.
Working hard.
And again, she's doing 3 shows at the same time. And I know that for you, you're probably producing and doing lots of projects.
4 shows right now. So it is extremely tough just trying to keep them all balanced, like working with so many different actors and so many different personalities and just trying to keep it all on track. It's a lot. So I can only imagine, I can more than imagine what she's going through right now.
So we got some people here. I got Aisha. I got, did I say it right, Aisha? Hey, I got Aisha and Christian. So tell us about what projects are they a part of?
So Christian is actually the lead in this new show called Army Sisters. Army Sisters.
I saw that.
Army Sisters is going to be a great show as well. So Army Sisters is about this group of friends that kind of come together because their husbands are deployed. They don't know each other before, and they all are dealing with different struggles. One is dealing with like alcoholism. One finds out she's pregnant while her husband is gone. One is dealing with cancer. And so they're all just kind of finding this bond.
Would one of them be like a secret lesbian? Maybe she's bisexual and she didn't realize until her husband left?
You'll have to watch to find out.
Okay, I'm excited.
There's also a homosexual guy whose husband is in the military, and we deal with that whole homophobia in the military as well.
That's again, these projects
doing different things and taking those risks.
These projects sound extremely risky, but also very, very needed. So I think you're doing, I have no doubt that you're doing exactly what it is that you said you were going to do to give voices to give voice to things that haven't been voiced in the mainstream.
Right.
Do you foresee any of these projects turning into a screenplay? Because I love theater. I love Sex and Marriage. And even more than Love, Sex, and Marriage, the play, I really love, what was the one I saw?
Black Lives Matter?
Before Black Lives Matter was excellent. Tracey and I went together. It was phenomenal.
I can't wait to bring that one back. It's so needed. Like, think about it. You saw that in February because we did it in February and it was supposed to tour in March. We got to go to DC and Baltimore, and then COVID hit, like, boom, right in the middle of our tour, so we had to cancel it. So we are really hoping to bring that back because that happened before the George Floyd situation.
Yes, it was before, right? You previewed so much of the year that we just lived through an experience in that stage play before Black Lives Matter. Did you? But it was filmed too, right? So will the play be a part of Tre Floyd TV?
Yes, we did film it, so we'll have it on the network to see, but we definitely want to bring it back live because, it's nothing like live theater. You're like, I love you a good show, but a live show is just totally different because it's like you're there and you're in it. It's nothing like it. So I definitely want to bring that back.
I agree. But again, I'm a theater person. Tracey's a theater person. Tracey right now, of course, is doing television, doing tons of projects. She has, one of, I think I'm at liberty to say that one of them is a film. She's doing a film, a project for Apple TV, and then she's doing a project. The other is on, I think, Showtime. But the point is, her heart is theater. She's a trained, thespian.
Mhm.
So we're excited to see it, and we want to see, of course, more of that. But we also know that with your schedule, I'm sure is really tough and challenging.
Very much so, and it's going to be even tougher this summer trying to take it on the road and run the network at the same time. But that's okay, because we're going to have some young people who are ready to come and help us out and get some experience to run the network.
So are you offering a strong internship program to bring in that young talent?
Absolutely. So I love to pour back into our young people. We actually started let me give a shout out too about the scholarship. So we do a Trey production. This is the first year we're going to do the Trey production scholarship. So if you know a senior or you have a senior, anybody in high school, please tell them to go to trefloyd.com and apply for the scholarship. But yes, going back to your question, absolutely pouring out to those young people, get them trained so then we can then pay them to do the job that we've already trained them on how to do. And this is for not just in front of the camera, but holding lights, learning how to run a camera, learn about angles and different things, even learn about like a table read and just how to do that. And even in the writer's room. So whatever aspect that you have an interest in, come on board. We love to show you how to hone that in so that when you leave high school, you have a skill that you can go out there and use, and you can pay your way through college and not get student loans and be in debt like some of us.
Like most of us, but we are prayerful and we're hopeful that the Biden administration will do what they said they would do and actually move towards loan forgiveness. In all fairness, Joe Biden said he would only forgive 10,000, but I have faith that Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer are going to push him and really propel him to get the $50,000 forgiveness signed. And that's a great first step in alleviating the loan crisis that burdens so many young Americans, millennials, as well as Gen Z people. So, and of course, even older. Some people spend their whole lives and never pay down their student debt. It's a horrific cycle of abuse in some regards. We're about to go into the up, the down, the clown, and the best of us. But before we do that, Trey, I do have one last question. As many people are still doing the right thing around quarantining for COVID-19, and they're at home and they're looking for things online like love, sex, and marriage, what are some of the productions that you've seen on YouTube beyond what you produce that you can say, I really, really enjoyed watching this and I would like to recommend it to the 3+1 audience?
So we started filming in December, right? And before that, I was writing, so I haven't had time to watch really anything on YouTube.
Even before, I mean, anything that you've seen on YouTube. And that goes for those watching. Shoot out in the comments things that maybe you saw.
That helped me out. What's something that was really good that we saw on YouTube even before quarantine? What is something that I like watching on YouTube? Of course, I can't think of anything right now. But when I had time to watch, I love to just go through and watch almost anything. I'm not an action fan. Like, action gives me a headache, right? But I like to go and watch all things because, one, I like to see things from different perspectives. So I like to watch things way different from what I do just so I can see it. I even like watching silent films. And even if it's not a silent film, I'll put it on mute just to see if I can figure out what's happening just from the actions. So, yeah.
And Candy, I think that we're both in the same boat. I don't watch a lot of YouTube series either. And so, that's something that... I
mean, a lot of them aren't very good. But you have some out there that are very good. So I'm sure you have to get through the fine.
And so that might be a project worth having. Mm-hmm. It's someone who literally looks at YouTube series and evaluates, talks about, and recommends them, for entertainment value. And because many people, have vacations coming up they have to take, but you're quarantined, and this is a good time to catch up on some good TV. It may be a good time to go and get your hair done. If that is what you do decide to do, you want to make sure you don't end up like our good friend, Tessica Brown. Tessica is this week's The Up because Tessica has been freed from the imprisonment that was her hair. This has been a very controversial issue. Tessica, was looking for maybe Gorilla Snot. She ran out of, I think, Got to Be Glue Hole spray and decided to use Gorilla Glue spray. She sprayed her hair for whatever reason. Many people speculate, and that's their right to do so. We don't do that here on 3 Plus. We want to try to stick to whatever facts we can ascertain from the stories that exist. But in this process, the young lady's hair did get glued together. And finally today, she had surgery on her hair performed by a surgeon in Los Angeles who was able to remove the Gorilla Glue from her hair. Trey, and to our audience, what do you guys think about that? Candy says that she's concerned that Black America watched this so closely. Trey, what are your thoughts on Tessica Brown?
I'm actually with Candace. Like, I was concerned that we watched this so close. So I kept seeing it on my timeline, but didn't know what it was. Like, I kept hearing the Gorilla Glue girl, and I kept seeing the picture, but I didn't put it together until I finally read it. It was like, are you kidding me right now? But like, so I just went past it though. Like, I was just like, okay, like, whatever. I didn't think much of it, but it became such a big story. Like, I think I'm almost disappointed we followed this so closely.
Well, she definitely she is disappointing what happened, but she certainly used what was a tragedy and turned it into a moment. From this moment, she definitely received 15 minutes of fame. She was a TikToker, so now her TikTok reach has extended. She has thousands of new followers, hundreds of thousands.
Certified on Instagram. She's
verified on Instagram. She gained 100,000 new followers on Instagram. She has a GoFundMe that raised over $10,000 for her hair surgery. So she definitely took.
Several celebrities reached out with wigs and hair. So it was a come up.
It was a come up. Do you think that it was purposely done? Do you think that Tessica did this for attention?
I really want to say she did it. I really do want to say she did it. However, I don't know. I think in my heart of hearts, I want to say she did not do this on purpose or for attention. But once she realized what she had done, she was like, okay, I got to capitalize on it. I mean, but and that's just pure speculation. I don't know her from a can of paint, but I just yeah.
So
you did it on purpose or for attention?
You said what now?
You think she did it on purpose or for attention?
Some people do. This is the thing. It's either I do. I don't think that she sprayed Gorilla Glue on her hair knowing what would happen.
I don't think she thought it would be that intense. I thought
that maybe she thought she could spray it on her hair and that it would lead to like maybe a couple weeks, a month of the hair being the same. I don't think that she knew the dangers involved. But then, exactly that it was going to hold her hair and make it hard, but not as hard as acrylic. And that's what it did. And it resulted in this huge ordeal for her.
And I think she became
the world.
I think she became embarrassed. I think she thought it would be like this little thing, but then it became embarrassing because now it's like you're the laughing stock. And like people are talking about you, like even in the comments and things. Like I think she realized, like, okay, they're not laughing with me, they're laughing at me. And it became embarrassing.
It was, and I get what Candy's saying as well, because I really didn't follow the story closely at all. I thought, I really didn't. It really wasn't. It's not, to be honest, I probably wouldn't even know about it if I didn't do this platform or platforms like this just to stay abreast and talk about what people are talking about. Because
it's everywhere, like radio, TV, like it's everywhere. Talking about the Gorilla Glue.
It is everywhere. And it's also what's interesting, kind of what probably makes it everywhere, makes it so prevalent, is that we really don't have a whole lot happening other than the impeachment, the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump.
That's true too, because people are kind of over this whole second impeachment. So that could be what it is. Maybe it's just nothing else to talk about.
So have you been watching the impeachment, and what are your thoughts?
I have not been keeping up with this one. Like I went through the whole first one, and I was just like, I really just want him to go to an island over there and just we never have to even see him again. So Yeah.
So you want him just to go away?
Forever.
Do you think that this was a wise decision by House Democrats to levy impeachment charges against him when it's highly unlikely that the Senate themselves are going to actually actually levy the charges or find him guilty of an impeachable offense?
I'm not opposed to what they did, and I think they needed to. I think it was more so to also send a message. And they've been wanting to do this. Well, I mean, they did this already. They did do the first impeachment. So I think it was definitely needed. So I'm not against what they did. I think they did what they felt was right to do. And I agree with it.
Yeah, I'm torn. On one hand, Trey, I firmly believe that the American people need to continuously relive January the 6th.
Exactly.
They need to live and grapple with what they did and what they allowed to happen in this country.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, I don't like wasted time.
And that's that's kind of where I am with the whole, I just want him to go away and just be done with it. So I am a little bit torn in that aspect. I'm torn. I don't really know.
And you're right, Candy. I agree 100%. Donald Trump is absolutely guilty of inciting a riot. He is guilty of treasonous acts against the American people. But the problem is that the actual Senate serves as the jurors, and they're going to vote along party lines, many of them. Absolutely. Now, this is an option that the United States Senate has, and it's to levy what's called a secret vote. They need to move in that direction.
Do you think that the votes would change if it were a secret vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's an example. So when they were very the Republicans in the House of Representatives were very convicted on removing Liz Cheney from her leadership position because she stood against Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. But in the secret vote, she retained her leadership position by an overwhelming majority. Because it was private, and these Republicans are afraid of Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. I believe that Republicans are afraid of Donald Trump because Donald Trump has dirt on them that came from the Russian hack of the RNC. So
Trump has a lot of power. He has a lot of supporters. So I mean, he has a lot of power behind him.
I think he knows really bad things that they have done. In that no one knows. And because of that, because think about it, if Russians can hack into the election systems and overwhelm us on Facebook, who said that they could not target Ted Cruz, go through his internet history, find out things that he may have sent inappropriate text messages or emails to people, women, who knows what he's done. Absolutely. And they are using that to make sure that Ted Cruz never turns on President Trump. And when there's dirty work to be done, Ted Cruz has to do that dirty work, because I don't believe that anybody is as stupid as Ted Cruz is being portrayed to be by his actions. I think that he's being heavily blackmailed, and I think many of them are, and that's why they're so afraid of Donald Trump. It has to come to an end, and I think impeachment will be the end. If he's impeached and he can never be president again, and they force him completely, because Twitter was phenomenal in removing him, because now we don't see his stupid ideas. That was a great step, but getting him impeached will be hopefully a final nail in his coffin so he can go away. Because if he's not impeached, I don't think he's going to go away. I think that he's going to continue to control these people from the background.
Do you think even if he's impeached that he will still control these people from the background, so that'll be his way in?
If he is not impeached, he will do that. But if he is impeached, he will have lost his power and the potential of power. And I believe that he himself will move on. I believe Donald Trump himself at 74 years old will finally just move on.
I don't know. I don't even see him moving on. I would hope that would happen, but just the type of person he is, I don't know.
I think that right now he's also very concerned about his wealth or lack thereof. I think that his economic status and standing in the world has suffered significantly, and he squandered the opportunities that he would have had he been a successful president. He is seen as such a colossal failure and a joke in the eyes of the world that he wants that chance at redemption. And the only way to end it, I think, will be impeachment. I don't think he will be impeached. I don't think Republicans are going to approve, because it would take, if the 50 Democrats plus 20 Republicans approved a secret vote, they could do it. But I don't believe they're going to even do that because I think Mitch McConnell is going to pull the strings to force them to make an open air vote, all under the threat of punishment if it doesn't go Donald Trump's way.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, Trey.
No, I was just agreeing.
It definitely wasn't up. That Tessica's journey has finally come to an end. And now if you choose to continue to follow her, you can see her daily ins and outs. On Instagram, we'll see her doing new hairstyles, maybe promoting products.
She might be a hair model. No?
She might be a hair model. I don't know. That hair has been through some things, but there may be a second life for her as a hair model. She may have another chance at a career, but let me tell you who doesn't have another chance at a career, and that is tonight's down, Morgan Wallen. Many of you watching, you don't know Morgan Wallen. Many of you probably don't. If you know him, you probably saw him. I think he was on The Voice. And this man, he's a country music star of sorts, right? He's solid in the country music world. He has a song that went viral on TikTok this like in 2021, about making your daddy proud and how his little girl turned out. And so many people are using that sound as like mocking. So that's kind of what has made him hugely famous is this TikTok viral song. The reason why he's out down is that he was seen on camera. He was leaving a bar in Nashville, Tennessee, with his white friends, 4 of them. They were going home completely inebriated, very, very drunk. And he was complaining about somebody being a pussy ass nigger. And he used it with the hard R. And the question becomes, and immediately his record label canceled him. Immediately, they dropped him. His agent dropped him. Everybody involved immediately, as soon as the video went viral, dropped this young man. The question I have, he's definitely the down, but do you feel as though he deserves such swift punishment for saying PAN? And again, he did say it with the hard R, but this is that's what he did. But this is why I'm asking you guys and kind of having it open for debate. He did say it with a hard R, but he may not have known. Some people, he may not know that it should be A. And it was he's saying that he didn't say it as in a racial way and that he was talking about a white person. The person he called a PAN was a white person. Should he still be completely canceled and have his career completely over because of this?
So for clarity, are you saying would it have been better had he used an A instead of a hard R? Is that your stance?
That's not my stance. I'm asking you, regardless of him saying with A or an R, it's the same level of offense. But the fact that he was not directing it to a black person or even talking with black people, he was directed to a white person. Should he be completely dropped and have his career over? Or should this be a case of where an apology would suffice?
I don't think it matters who he was talking to because he said what he said. And I think words have power and we allow them to have words have power and relationships. And so you have to be very careful how you use those words. And I think he didn't take, you have to take responsibility for those. And then as Cassie just commented, like it's their label, their call. And then you also have to look at like what all goes into these things, right? So we're living, this is kind of still in, but slightly post to the big Black Lives Matter movement. So a lot of people are looking at like sponsorships and things like that. So like, hey, his label decided to stick with him and stick it out with him. They could lose a lot of money on the back end from whatever. So I think they took all of those things into account. And I mean, was he worth it? And then I'm always a fan of what's in you will come out of you. So, I mean, if you were that comfortable saying it to like friends, like what do you say when you're not on camera?
Exactly. Yeah. I agree 100%. You know, as Candy knows and those who watch the show, you know, I'm a council king. I believe in the power of the council because that is our method of controlling the culture and as people of color taking back power from white supremacy. The only tool that we have that's effective in combating white supremacy is capitalism, our black dollar. We control the culture. Black people set the culture. We set the tone. And we have to use that culture to cancel when necessary. I agree with that. But here's another piece of it. Now, Morgan Wallen has met with several prominent civil rights leaders, multiple Black organizations, to attempt to make a tone for what he's done. Mm-hmm. He's also saying that he has an alcohol problem, that he drinks a lot, so now he's also undergoing treatment to become alcohol free. Let's say that a record label in 10 years, maybe even 5 years or 3 years sign him, are we willing to boycott that label because of his use of the N-word?
I do believe in forgiveness. I think I would be okay with it. I don't know as a people what we stand on that. You know, like cancel culture is real, but I do also think that as a culture, as a people, we can be forgiving to some things.
Black people are extremely forgiving. Black people are the most forgiving culture. Absolutely. And you're right. As a cat,
like we go hard on something, but then we forget it real quick.
And we forgive. Not me. I'm a Scorpio. I don't do that. But you're right. Now, this is the thing. A number of racist Republicans, Trumplicans, racists are out here. Like let me tell you.
They're behind him. Mm-hmm.
They are behind him. Guess what? He has a #1 song in America. Because he called someone the N-word. Mm-hmm. He has a #1 song. He has multiple songs that are now in the top 10 that were never even cracked in the top 100 because they are streaming him like crazy to get him some clout. So yeah, but here's the thing: the white supremacists are unified in the support of him. I believe that we have to be unified in our cancel of him. So this is me, Trey. If another record label picks him up, I am not going to be able to support any artist on that label. I don't care if
Beyonce or just right now.
For life. If Jay-Z decides he's gonna be the one to resurrect his career, as much as I love your Virgo sister Beyonce, I can't do it. I can't support white supremacy.
It would need to be something sincere, like, and then it's a serious offense, but like, I mean, that word has a whole lot of power. We all know that. So, I like to be a forgiving person. I do believe in second chances, but you have to truly show me that you've earned this second chance. Like, I don't buy that whole you went and met with Black leaders, you went to rehab. I don't buy all of that because, I mean, this is what you do. That's what your PR person told you to go and do. Whatever. But like, if you truly are, like, I think back to what's the girl who sang, it was a Black girl who sang at Trump's inauguration.
It was Chrisette Michele, who I was a huge fan of. Zachary Kirk loved Chrisette Michele. I had all her albums from Golden to Epiphany. She was my ride. I would get in my car when I would go home to Mississippi, and it would be Chrisette Michele blasting. When she chose to sing for Donald John Trump, Zachary Kirk took those CDs and they went directly in the trash. I loved Kanye West. And when Kanye West decided to be Kanye West, I took those CDs and they also joined Chrisette in the trash. I like Mary. When Mary wanted to be the morons that Mary became, guess what? They also ended up in the trash. And I don't even listen to the good Mary. It's one bad Mary, it's a good Mary. I don't listen to no Mary after that. It's not happening because she was your friend. And if that's somebody who you'll be friends with, with somebody like that, you can't be around me. It ain't gonna happen.
So do you believe in growth? Like, do you believe that Chrisette realized what she did and how bad it was and can grow from it? No?
I'm certain that she did. But at the same time, I don't care. She still did. Now, my computer I got to go get the charger. So, Trey, I run the screen and you talk to my people while I grab my charger. And I want you to tell us whatever you want to tell us. I'll be right back.
Okay, so while he's going to get his charger, maybe I am just the forgiving person, but I do believe in giving people second chances. I think the cancel culture, as he said, that is a way for us to have our power. So I think it's necessary, but I also feel like sometimes we can over cancel people, and I do believe that people deserve a chance to come back. You know what I'm saying? And have that second chance. But you have to, as our youngest says, you have to do your work and realize what you did wrong and come back with an apologetic spirit. Yeah. So, guess let's talk to us straight. Guess tell us about your shows. All right. So we talked about Love, Sex, and Marriage. This is going to be an awesome show coming back for season 3. It's going to be awesome. We talked about The Veil, which is going to be an awesome show, and talked about Army Sisters, which is going to be great. Something else is Me and the Mystery is going to be coming back. We're actually having auditions in March for another show that's going to be great called Church Hurt. So if you are an actor or plan to or would love to jump in and learn a little bit about acting, come on out on March 17th. Here comes Bubba is another show is coming out. So we got a lot of upcoming shows. I think it's really going to be great. It's going to really give you an opportunity to jump into something besides Netflix. So you know how people always say, hey, what's on Netflix? You see those status up. One day people are going to be saying, what's on Trey TV? So you can be one of the first people to be able to say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Like I said, I'm subscribing. I'm gonna get my $7.99, and let's just actually use this calculator. So I'm going to pay $7.99 times 12 for my yearly subscription. Wait, hold on, I'm putting in something wrong because it came up at $7.99 for $95.88. So Trey, I'm just gonna round it out to an even 100. So. And then we'll also be able to give you, that's what I'm talking about, Scorpios in the house, and we don't forgive like that. We will forgive, we won't forget, and we won't let it go. But that's going to be, that's going to be okay. This is enough. So as we're talking about for you, Trey, because you want to, you said you would forgive eventually, people can grow. I want to know if you forgive this week's clown. Now, you said you could possibly forgive Morgan. But could you actually forgive this man right here? This is Austin. I want to say I can Austin Ching. I can't pronounce. The name is Chenge. He is a Republican candidate for the for the governor of Michigan. He's running. He wants to run against Gretchen Whitmer. He'll be in a primary. We don't know if he's going to make it. But this Black Republican said that he wants to cancel Black History Month in the state of Michigan because he says that Black History Month is unfair to white people and that there is no reason that we should be celebrating and recognizing Black History Month in 2021. I want to know, you guys out there, what do you think? Do you agree with this man, number one? And number two, if you don't agree with him, can we forgive him, Trey?
So like I said earlier, with time and him doing his work, then we possibly can. Here's the thing. Do I want to forgive? Especially not right now. Like if he came in tomorrow, it's a no. But clearly something is wrong with this fella. Like he got some mental issues going on. So he needs some help. Like for you to even think that as a Black person, like as any person, but especially a Black person, he clearly needs some help. So I feel like if he could do his work, then we can forgive him in time. You can, because here's the thing. Like, if we're not willing to forgive him, that means that that makes us lower ourselves to not to his standards, but lower ourselves to a lower standard. And we want to be a person of higher standard, and we want to be a person who is willing to forgive people, to let them learn. You're an educator. People need to learn. There is no word. People need to learn. He missed some steps along the way.
All right, let me explain. Let's talk. This is a real issue. I'm actually getting ready to make a TikTok about Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, I want to say maybe 3 years ago, did an interview on Nightline that nobody really saw. Mm-hmm. And the interview was where a young Black woman, I forget her name, she's big on Nightline, but I don't watch Nightline often. And she asked Lil Wayne what his thoughts were on Black Lives Matter. He told her, get out of here. He's like, I'm rich. Like my life matters. What are you talking about? This type of ignorance is very prevalent, more so than we know in the Black community. We talk to Black people who are like us, who are educated to a certain extent and who are aware to a certain extent, who are woke to a certain extent. I'm not friends with coons. Okay, like I'm not friends with Black people who run around wanting to hurt the Black community, who want to tear down the Black community, who want to rip apart the Black community. They exist. We see Candace Owens, we see little Christian Walker, and we see Austin Ching. We see these people, and they're doing damage like Lil Wayne and Ice Cube and Waka Flocka to the Black community as a whole. And their voices are being elevated, amplified by racist, conservative Republicans for their own gains. In the same way that there were, exactly as Tamika Mallory said, Black men who put their brothers and sisters in chains and sold them off to white people to enslave. They exist and are reincarnated right here in the 21st century. When I look at a man like this, who sits up here skidding and grinning for white approval, wanting to appease white conservatives who have done everything they can to hold back the Black community, strip rights away from the Black community, I cannot, in my heart of hearts, find any words of forgiveness or understanding for him, because the damage will have been done. God, as Candace said earlier, can forgive him all day. And that's wonderful. The Lord above, thank you for the sacrifice of your only Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, so that he may be forgiven for his sins. But that is not what God has called me to do. God has called me to educate. God has not called me to forgive the lesser of them. He called me to educate them, but not necessarily to forgive them. And Candace says, you know, when they go high, that's right. I'm not going to. They can go. They go low. I'm not trying to be better than them, because that's the problem. We have always sought to be better than them, and while we were seeking to be better than them, they were finding ways to tear us down and shoot us down. We go high and we get shot down, and we come crashing to the ground because we're not playing the same game that they're playing.
It's true.
And he's and again, this man probably believes this to a certain extent, but more than anything,
I think it's so unfortunate
he wants white approval.
It baffles me how someone Black can even feel that way. Like I just wonder, what experiences did you go through in your life to make you think that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can tell you, this is so beautiful, Trey. I'm so glad I get to say this. I'm going to tell you, I've thought a lot about this. And I've thought about Candace Owens and Christian Walker, and they're different, their personal circumstances. But Trey, think about our childhood in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Okay. As a matter of fact, I really honestly can think of a person right now that was in high school with me, a family. And I can think about my family, and I can think about his family. My family, I grew up, my mom had me at 17 years old. I grew up in a trailer on a dirt road in rural Mississippi. He grew up with two parents in a home, wonderful life, that I could see. But his parents taught him to hold on no matter what to this notion of this American concept. And you are only going to have that, and you can only have it if the white man lets you have that. And you have to do everything you can to gain approval from that white man, so he will give you that dream. He will give you this chance because they're the ones in power and they have control. For some Black people, the struggle here is survival. And their mama, their mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, it goes generations back. And that's what makes white supremacy so dangerous. My grandmother taught me that I would be dead before I kiss a white man's behind, because there is no life for you that's worth living when you have lost your sense of self and your self-respect. Mm-hmm. You don't bow down to anybody but God, but that's not what some people were taught. They were taught to survive so that they could thrive, and that's what they do. And they don't care about the Black community because they look at it from what I'm getting from that white man. And so the white man is in control of these of the power structures, and they're going to give me some of that power structure, and therefore I'm going to do all I can to appease him. That's what I see in the pick-me culture of today, is that that's what they strive for. And I've actually engaged in the young man that I'm thinking of on Facebook as we argued about Donald Trump. And he argued with me about how Donald Trump would do more for black men in America because he can do more than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And we went back and forth. He and I won't have those debates anymore because he ended up blocked. Just like I had to block the transphobic people that I had to deal with.
I don't get into those conversations. I just go ahead and block you. Like, I don't have the energy for it.
Yeah, Trey is and that's loving and kind.
More like Jesus.
God bless Trey.
Thank you.
And goddamn the coon. And so with that,
they're coons too.
So here you go, Trey. Candy wants to know, why are you so forgiving, Trey? Why?
One is I do try to be more like Jesus every day, but secondly though, I'm not perfect. I know that I have done wrong and I have made some mistakes and I've grown. And sometimes it is a mistake and sometimes people do it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But I know that I'm 33 now, right? If I go back to 23, some of the things that I did to some people, I was just flat out wrong for it. You know what I'm saying? So I have to realize that sometimes it does take growth. Some people grow with age, some people don't. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to run into some people that make you realize that you need to be a better person. And sometimes life experiences teach you that. And sadly, this gentleman in Michigan, or this guy in Michigan, because he ain't acting like a gentleman, this clown over here, like, he may not realize how stupid he is until he's the one who's face down on the ground being pulled over by this white officer, until he realized that he's still black in America.
He absolutely will. I don't know if he will realize, because his focus is on gaining white approval.
Yeah, and he may not even realize it then. It's unfortunate. It's really sad. But I mean, I guess my parents made me like that. I don't know, but you know, and sometimes it can be hurtful. But I give people too many chances. Maybe I need to work on that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a blessing, and I'm glad. Blessed are the peacekeepers, and there are people who are called for that. But for everything, there is a time and a season. And for me, my season is a season of war, because I'm fighting against injustice. I'm fighting against white supremacy, and
that's needed too. Like, everybody can't be the peacemaker.
Yeah, and I'm going to be the fighter, and I'm going to fight hard as hell, and I'm going to call it out, and I don't care. I don't care. Like, again, we were talking earlier about the transphobia that was running rampant on my Facebook. So if those of you who are out there, you want to have a good laugh, you go and look at a video I made, talking about how people are trying to make an issue out of a non-issue for political reasons, but people want to still emphasize the fact that that women who happen to be trans, or young girls who happen to be trans, should have their rights legally denied. Go on that thread. See what happens when you come at me the wrong way. You just go and take a look at some war. You'll see a war. Now, in addition to war, we do have those who bring peace like Trey, and we also have those who sing peaceful melodies like Jasmine Sullivan, as we go into what represents the best of us. And this week, we give the Best of Us award to Jasmine Sullivan for taking a situation to perform at Super Bowl, singing well. It wasn't my favorite, but it sounded good enough.
I loved it.
Many people did. Now, I'm not a trained musician, nor am I can't even carry a tune. I'm an awful singer. Horrible. Okay. My singing voice, Trey, is God's is evidence that if God didn't put the dream in your heart, you can't do it. At no point have I ever wanted to be a singer, because that's not a talent God gave me, nor did he put that dream in my heart.
Really?
Because the talent
you were born with it or you weren't. So I used to actually sing the national anthem in my high school game. I think my battery is long now. Hold on. Keep talking. I'm going to plug up my computer now.
Okay, go plug up your computer, because you can tell, they die so fast, and we're almost done. We're almost there. And Candy, it's the one where I was talking about trans rights, about how this whole, you have a number of states, I think it's like 20 states, who are trying to put laws on the books that they say protect women or girls from trans athletes being in sports. The issue isn't about trans athletes. The issue is about trying to get something to the Supreme Court that's going to overturn the rights of one group so that they will have a legal precedent to roll back the rights of other groups. That's the video I made. But it was the comments brought in that took a left turn when someone accused me of being a gaslighter. Gaslighting is a psychological attempt to manipulate. And that's not what I'm doing when I'm making an argument. So it just went left, and it resulted in, you agree, it resulted in a nice block of a stranger. I don't even know who you are, so I don't know why you're on my Facebook page in the first place. But Trey, so she really did sound good.
I loved it. So I love hearing the national anthem. I used to sing. What I was saying was I used to sing the national anthem in my high school football games, right? So I love.
And she did do a good job.
I thought she did a phenomenal job.
Despite the guitar.
Did you say despite the guitar?
Despite the guitar man.
Despite the guitar man, I thought their voices complement each other very well. Jasmine is very earthy and urban, and I thought he was very like country. So I thought that it actually meshed very well. So I actually really enjoyed it. I'm a Jasmine Sullivan fan also, though. So I thought it was great. And then, I afterwards went to go and look at comments because I saw what the Super Bowl was trying to do there, put this real country guy with this real urban girl. I
didn't appreciate that. I didn't like
that. Appreciate it. But I knew everybody wouldn't appreciate it. So I went and looked at comments, and baby,
what were the comments? They didn't like him.
They didn't like him because he sang with her. Like it was, like they were like mad at him, like that's why his album not selling. Because I don't know, was Eric Church?
I think his name is Eric Church.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of him before. I didn't know him. But I actually sang in the mic. I actually sang in the mic. But I hadn't heard of him before. But apparently they were making comments like his album won't do well. That's why his last 2 songs, I'm not listening to him again. And I was like, that's so hateful. Like that's so hard.
No, if you go, is it Cassia?
Cassia,
if you go to Twitter and you put in, really, if you just type in Jasmine Sullivan in search or Eric Church in the search, you'll see.
People were like my friends on Facebook. I just had to go and like search for it because I wanted to see what other people were thinking. Because most of the people I talked to enjoyed it, or they enjoyed Jasmine.
I agree. I agree. Now I gave her. She received, like, every week we do the best of us, like the best of really Black culture, and absolutely Jasmine won that. She earned that. But I just said that to me it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't Whitney. It wasn't to me close to that. But it was definitely a good rendition of the national.
I can agree with that.
Did you enjoy the halftime?
That's a different story. No, that's a totally different story. No. In short, no. So talking about Facebook posts, if you go look at my Facebook post, I put up a post saying things people who I would rather be watching right now, and it was hilarious. Somebody put up the Mississippi Mass Choir could have did a better job. It was hilarious. Like, yeah.
But you know what? I will say this. This is what I think. I think people have been a little unfair to The Weeknd.
And then I must say, I'm not a Weeknd fan. Like, I don't know a whole lot of his music, so maybe I'm not the best person to judge the show.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I listen to his music. I mean, he's not The Dream. They're very similar to me in their vocal stylings. I like The Dream better than Weeknd. But this is the thing. Why would the Super Bowl reach out to The Weeknd to be the headliner when he's not a performer? The Weeknd is a strong, solid singer. He's a strong male R&B voice, but he's not a performer. The Super Bowl is for a performer. Now, I will say that he gave a very creative rendition. And, I think, The Weeknd is not a performer. He shouldn't have been his artistry didn't translate well to a Super Bowl. When you see the Super Bowl, you want lights, camera, you want the big production.
And I can't name 5 Weeknd songs. And so I think that's a problem. Like, even if it's an artist that I may not always listen to, I should be able to name 3 to 5 songs. I couldn't say.
Well, and Candy, I've gone to the Weeknd's live concerts. Like when he came to State Farm Arena, I think it was Phillips at the time. I saw him perform. It was beautiful. He's a great singer, but performance-wise, it didn't give you a whole lot because he isn't someone who exudes energy. To be honest with you, I see his voice as I would say 2 steps down from a Jennifer Hudson voice. Jennifer Hudson is, to me, the best living vocalist alive of like today. That is my opinion, Trey. Now, I'm talking about her music. This is the thing. I don't feel as though many people in the industry have been able to harness her voice well to create a good album. She has not had a good album. She struggled to have great songs. But when you have heard her sing, it's amazing. But her concerts, awful, because she doesn't have a strong stage presence and a lot of charisma. The Weeknd is a great singer, but he also, to me, lacks that stage presence and isn't able to emote a lot of charisma either. In terms of the depth, the whole performance was meant to be like the movie Us. That's what he was trying to channel. He was channeling us in some parts of it. So that's why they had the underground. You had the maze where he was lost. So there was supposed to be like 2 versions of himself, one and the other, and that's what you kind of got. So that's why there was the Band-Aid Kids. That's why you had the maze, and that's why you had all those people in the circus-like or the carnival-like setting. It was meant to be showing you his music through that type of a film introduction. So it was definitely
about the fake plastic surgery that I'm seeing the comments about.
That was based on his. He was also promoting, of course, the video for "I Can't Feel My Face," and that was the motif that he went with. It was artistically well done. It just didn't translate over for a Super Bowl. It's just not something that probably should have been, chosen. But we salute Jasmine Sullivan. She represents the best of us. We're definitely at our hour. Trey,
her. We're gonna talk about her as well. Her did great.
I did not like that at all.
You didn't like her?
No.
Why not? What didn't you like?
It didn't sound good to me. Didn't sound good at all.
But Jennifer, never mind. Moving right along. Okay.
Jennifer Hudson, a fellow Virgo, is a phenomenon of you. Now, I'm a Scorpio, but Jennifer's a Virgo. Jennifer her voice is a national treasure. Trey, it has been recognized by the Obamas. That's why she sang at the inauguration. It has been recognized. She is the voice of Aretha Franklin in the new film that she
So just saying that she sang at inauguration doesn't make her voice a national treasure because J-Lo sang at inauguration. And she's a performer. She's not a singer.
No, she's not. And J-Lo performed for the reason of really wanting to appeal to our Latin.
Which I understand, but I'm just saying if you're going.
But Jennifer Hudson sang because of the vocal quality. Jennifer Hudson is her voice is the best one out. Who has a better voice? I'm not talking about body of work, but in terms of voice, who has a better?
Here's my thing. I'm not a big Jennifer Hudson fan. Jennifer Hudson sings loud, and so
many people don't like Jennifer Hudson. But who's better?
Who's better? I'll take anyone over Jennifer Hudson. That's my personal opinion. But like musically, can she sing? Yes. Am I a fan of hers? And I'm not talking about her body of work. Am I a fan of her voice? No, because I don't like her style of singing. And what I mean by that is she's a belter. Like she belts out her singing. And I'm not a fan of that kind of musical styling. So, for example, like when Whitney Houston sings, she can sing loud but keep her tone and it comes easy, right? But when Jennifer sings, it sounds like I can't listen to an entire Jennifer Hudson album, not because of the lyrics or the music, but because of the way she sings. It just comes off as loud.
Jennifer has not had a good album because there hasn't been anyone who could really give. I don't think most people in the industry can understand how to use her voice. I agree with you about the classic Whitney Houston. I said alive. I don't think that Jennifer compared to Whitney. But when I look at the artists who are still singing now, who are alive today, there is no one that has it. But again, I'm not basing this on Jennifer Hudson albums. I'm basing this on a variety.
What I'm saying, like albums, because of what I'm saying is the vocality, like the vocal is in it. Like I can't sit and listen to it. Like I don't. If Jennifer Hudson sang a Beyonce album, I couldn't listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Just simply because I don't. Her voice is just so loud to me. To me, it just sounds like she's screaming to me.
So when she was in Dreamgirls, where she won an Oscar, you did not find her voice to be.
I felt like that role was perfect for her because they were saying she sang so loud. Think about the Dreamgirls, right? She played Effie, who oversang everybody in the group. I feel like that was her real life. Like I feel like she oversang. And this is, like I said, this is my opinion. Some people love it, and people like different things. Like I just said, I love Jasmine Sullivan's voice. It's more sultry to me. It doesn't come off as like she's yelling. But like Jennifer just comes off to me like she yells. And that's just, I don't like her musical style.
So that'll be interesting. So Trey, you need to, as you find artists that you know, as you see these performances, shoot them to me. I have not heard Jasmine's latest CD. I heard it was good, and I'm definitely gonna listen to it.
Interesting. I think you'll like. I think you should listen to it. So it's a very different body of work. It's only, I think it's maybe 12 tracks, but it's really only like 6 songs because what she did was she put these like stories in between each song that kind of explains every song, which I thought was kind of great.
So I'm definitely gonna check it out, and I will be checking back to let you and everyone know if I can say that Jasmine Sullivan, who did get this week's Best of Us, is a better vocalist than Jennifer Hudson. Virgo. We will see. We will see. Tre Floyd has definitely disappointed Virgo Nation tonight as he has betrayed his sister, Jennifer. So everybody, thank you guys for joining us. We will be with you soon. Join us next week. We will be here same time, same place. And hopefully Tracy will be with us as well. Trey, don't go anywhere. Hang on. Wait, hold, we got number 1. And that's when I stopped listening on story number 1. For Jasmine Sullivan, is that what you're saying? Is it Jasmine Sullivan story number 1?
I don't know.
Cassie, are you saying like the first song of Jasmine Sullivan? Because I don't want to waste my time. Now, if you're telling me it's not good, because Trey already don't like Jennifer.
I think she's saying she started on story number 1.
Was it not a good album? Was Jasmine not good? Because I don't have much time to waste. I ain't got time to die.
Oh, she's talking about Jasmine Sullivan album. Okay, got it. Now I didn't know what she was talking about. Story number 1. Yeah. So the first time I listened to it, but I skipped all the stories just to hear the music, right? And I like that. But then I went back and listened to the stories, and I kind of like. You just gotta listen to it, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, we may even have to bring Cassia on.
We might have to bring Cassia on because Cassia is a straight shooter. She gonna give you her.
You know what? This is a commitment. This is what we're gonna do. We are going to come back. Cassia, get yourself together. Get ready. Get ready. Now, we're gonna come back, and we're gonna have a little mini discussion around Jasmine Sullivan hotels. So we are gonna do that. So Trey, you hang out. Don't you log off. Everybody, thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure.